all, it has to be strong. So, if a brand is not really clear, or it's a kind of a weak brand, it's very easy forgettable, in which case it doesn't really do much of a benefit. Second of all, the brand has to be credible. I mean, if it's not credible, then people will look at the brand and say, yeah, okay, right, I don't buy it, I don't believe it. And third of all, I believe that the brand has to be consistent. So you don't want a brand that today has, maybe viewed as expensive and rare, and tomorrow the brand looks cheap and very common. So it has to kind of fall into one camp or another, and in that sense has to be consistent. I think if you travel anywhere in the world and you say the word Africa, I think what comes into people's minds is some combination of these four. Poverty, corruption, war and political instability, and disease. Now, I said in the book, and I'm saying it again here, that obviously there are countries in Africa that have not had civil war, thank God, my own country included. I'm from Zambia. And there are other countries where you could argue that corruption is not so rampant, for example, maybe Botswana. And there are places, of course, where there might be less issues around disease burden, and of course, you could argue that there are places where the incidence of poverty is not as acute as other places. So the point here being that clearly not every country in Africa has these four issues. However, it is important for us to understand, and I'll come back to this point later on in terms of what we should be doing. It's very critical that we understand that all African countries are painted with the same brush.
Watching a special broadcast coming to you from Brand Africa, the inaugural forum in Sandton, South Africa. We're discussing issues of re-imaging Africa and whether or not we're pushing forward the right messages and pursue the right strategies for growth to attract investment and essentially to uplift our nation.
It's not a question only of the consistency of the messages as we've been discussing. It's about also a concerted effort and consistent effort in addressing the issues such as the macro environment, the policies, and being able to communicate those. It's about a bold vision to say these things can be done. I refuse to accept that Africa is a basket case. I believe that we can turn these things.
Business and political and civil society leaders who know how to use their imaginations, who know how to make policies, make products, make innovations that capture the imagination, different, new, and extraordinary. That's what you need. And if you do that, you don't have to worry about messaging because that's what the media wants to talk about. I think in the end, if you want a formula, countries have to develop the systems and the structures in order to project a constant, unbroken stream of dramatic evidence that they really deserve the reputation they desire.
I think one of the challenges that we have, we reward mediocrity. If we can stop that and start saying, look, unless you have really excelled, we reward you. If you have scored, if we say you must score 10 goals, we shouldn't be recording you. We shouldn't be rewarding you if you score 2. We shouldn't be celebrating that. I'm just giving you another example. In organizations, we do that. We reward mediocrity. So as a result, we celebrate it, and so people continue in that mediocrity and never reach high levels of excellence and high levels of being competitive in terms of contributing, so that we can be able to develop the individual organizations, then the individual countries, then the region, then the continent. Once we do that, I think we'll be able to go far. But we must define what is excellence. Unless we do that, because then we'll be continuing to reward mediocrity that will never rise above. And then believe what it is that we do. We believe in ourselves. There's a saying that if you see yourself as a grasshopper, so will other people see you like that. So we must change the perception of ourselves as well.